You hear a scream outside your window, you freeze. You look around, and somehow, so does everyone else. Nobody moves. But the real answer for why is far stranger than fear. It has nothing to do with cowardice. It has almost nothing to do with the danger itself. It has everything to do with a number. The number of people standing next to you. In March of 1964, in a quiet residential stretch of Queens, New York, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building. She cried out for help. The attack lasted in total, across 2 separate assaults, more than half an hour. Days later, the New York Times ran a story claiming 38 witnesses watched from their windows and did nothing. No one called the police until it was too late. The story spread everywhere. It became a symbol of a cold, indifferent city, a symbol of what modern life had supposedly done to the human soul. Psychology textbooks picked it up, sermons referenced it. An entire theory of human behavior was born from it. But here's the twist nobody tells you. That story wasn't quite true. In 2007, a team of researchers, Rachel Manning, Mark Levine, and Alan Collins, went back through the original police records and trial transcripts. What they found didn't match the myth. There weren't 38 passive witnesses calmly watching a murder unfold like a television show. Most people who heard anything heard only a brief, ambiguous noise late at night. Some did call the police. One woman ran outside and cradled the dying kitty in her arms while she waited for help to arrive. The number 38 was invented, more or less, by an editor chasing a bigger headline. So why does this story matter at all if it was exaggerated? Because the myth accidentally pointed towards something real. Something researchers would spend the next decade proving in laboratories, again and again, with chilling consistency. 2 psychologists, Bibb Latané and John Darley, became obsessed with the same question you're probably asking right now. If the Genovese case was overstated, was there any truth buried underneath it? So they built experiments to test it directly. In one now famous study, they placed a single participant in a room and slowly filled it with smoke pouring in through a vent. Alone, the person almost always got up and reported it within minutes. But when the same person sat in a room with 2 other people, actors instructed to sit still and ignore the smoke, something strange happened. The real participant usually did nothing either. They glanced at the others. The others looked calm. So they decided it must be fine. In another experiment, participants believed they were having a conversation over an intercom with several other people. One of those voices, actually a recording, suddenly began having what sounded like a seizure, choking and calling for help. When participants believed they were the only other person on the call, the vast majority intervened immediately. But when they believed 4 other people were also listening, far fewer helped. Some never did at all. Why? Your brain isn't lazy here. It's doing something almost logical. When an emergency is ambiguous, you look to the people around you for information. This is called social referencing, and it's wired into you from infancy. A toddler who falls will often check a parent's face before deciding whether to cry. You're doing the same thing as an adult, just with strangers on a sidewalk instead of a parent's face. There's a second force working alongside it, something researchers call diffusion of responsibility. When you're the only witness, the weight of the moment sits entirely on you. But add 9 more witnesses, and suddenly that weight splits 10 ways. Each person quietly assumes someone else, someone more qualified, someone closer, someone already reaching for their phone, will step in. Everyone waits for someone else to be first. And because everyone is waiting, no one moves. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This isn't a flaw in bad people. Latané and Darley tested this on ordinary volunteers, kind people, generous people, people who almost certainly saw themselves as the type who would help. The crowd itself changed their behavior before their character ever had a chance to. Think about the last time you saw a phone recording a fight instead of a hand reaching to stop it. Think about a group chat where everyone saw a friend's worrying message and nobody replied first. Think about a car crash on the highway with a dozen vehicles slowing down to look and how many of them actually pulled over. You've lived inside this effect more times than you realize. There's a strange irony buried in all of this. You are statistically safer, in a purely physical sense, surrounded by more people. But you are psychologically more alone in a crowd than you would be completely by yourself. Isolation doesn't require an empty street. Sometimes it requires the opposite. 100 witnesses, and not one of them acting first. So what actually breaks the pattern? Researchers found one variable that consistently overrides it: direct address. If a bystander in trouble looks at one specific person and says a name, or says, "You, in the blue jacket, call an ambulance," diffusion collapses instantly. The responsibility can no longer be spread across the crowd. It has a single owner now, and people who receive that direct instruction help almost every time. That single detail rewrites the entire lesson your ancestors and every crowded street and every ignored group chat have been quietly teaching you. The danger was never the size of the crowd. The danger was the silence of not being named. Kitty Genovese's story, even distorted by a newspaper chasing a headline, ended up teaching millions of people something true almost by accident. Not that humanity is cruel, not that cities make people cold, but that responsibility, left vague, evaporates, and responsibility, made specific, survives. So the next time you're the one who needs help in a crowd, you now know exactly what to do. Point. Choose one face. Speak directly to them. And the next time you're the one standing in the crowd, staring, unsure, waiting for someone else to move first, remember what the smoke-filled room revealed about you. You weren't built to ignore a scream outside your window. You were built to look around first and wait for permission from the strangers beside you. Take that permission back.